I'm going to show you guys how to do a credit scroll. I've kind of grabbed some a credit scroll from The Simpsons here, what you're going to be doing before you actually start doing this in Premiere or After Effects or whatever you're going to do it in. I'm going to show it in After Effects, but I recommend getting something like a Microsoft Word document, going through and writing down all the credits that are going to be in the movie. Also, you have like the scrolling credit list at the end. That way, if you have any changes, you can just quickly go into the Word document and update it and get it all ready to go. That's kind of the easy way to format it instead of doing it in Photoshop or After Effects first. I'm going to Premiere here. Okay. Within Premiere, I'm going to make a sequence. I'm just going to be doing this in 1920 by 1080. 1920 by 1080 sequence. Pretend I got a movie here, and after the movie I'm going to make my scrolling credits. So what I'm going to do is in Premiere, I recommend if you're doing it from Premiere, using Premiere to send over a file to edit in After Effects, so all the resolution is set and your resolution and frame rate and everything is set for the composition that you're going to create in After Effects. I'm going to hit a new black video, generate a black video file. I'm going to drag that into my timeline. You put it at the end of the movie typically, but you're going to make this about as long as your credits are going to be. If you're doing a short film, usually a minute tops is for a short film. If you're in a feature film, you'll see credits that last like 4 or 5 minutes long because you have a much longer list. Just depends on how long of a list you have. I'm going to make this about 1 minute long. And actually, if you want to make it 1 minute long exactly, you can just drag your black video into your source, and you can go to 1 minute and put an out point. And now I've got a 1 minute file here. I can drag down on my timeline, and it's exactly 1 minute. But I'm going to take that black video, I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to replace that with an After Effects composition. Send that black video file over to After Effects. This is easier than doing it in After Effects and starting a new composition because, like I said, this sends over your frame rate, your resolution, and everything over to After Effects. And sets up the composition length and frame rate and all that stuff for you. So I'm just going to save this to my desktop here. And call this credit scroll. Okay, so I brought this black video over. Now next thing I'm going to do is, you can do this in, you can generate all the text in After Effects if you wish. I kind of like doing it in Photoshop because it makes an easy file just to bring over. So I'm going to go to Photoshop, and within Photoshop I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to go under the template for film and video, and I'm going to pull down my size, and I make this, if you're doing like 4K, you can do 4K if you wish, but then I'm working at 1920 by 1080, so I'm going to do a 1080 template here under film and video, but I'm going to make this higher, longer. I'm going to make it the height a lot higher. I'm going to start off by doing about 10,000 pixels here and see what I get here. And what you'll get is this kind of long scroll. You're going to have a 16 by 9 video here playing like that, and this scroll here is going to scroll past this. You're going to animate that, and After Effects is really the way it's going to work. If I'm going to do a standard one, I'm just going to do black with white text here. I'm going to do a black background. So I chose my bucket here and made sure that I'm on black, and I clicked in here and made that black. Now I'm going to create a text file within this, and you can, depending on how many credits you have, you can make this longer if you wish. We're going to see if this is long enough here. I'm going to click my little, I'm going to click on my text over here and create a text box. I'm going to drag this down the bottom there and leave a little bit of room on the left and right columns for title safe. You can adjust this later if you wish. And now I'm going to go to my Word document, select all my text, and Command C or Control C if you're on a PC, and go back to Photoshop and paste that within my text box and paste my text in there. Okay. Now when I paste my text in here, it wasn't in the right color, so I'm going to select white here so my text turns to white. And there we go. So all my text is put in there. So now now you can do formatting. You can format this any way you want to. I'm going to center all my text. You don't have to center it if you want. And this looks like it's long enough here. This fits all my text in here. It depends on how it looks zoomed up in your window. So I'm going to make kind of I'm going to make a little selection box here that looks like about a 16 by 9. I'm going to scroll up to this here, hold down Option and scrolling with my mouse here. And I'm going to look and see how my text looks, if that's big enough. And actually, this is going to require some formatting here. So what you can do is you can click inside your text, you can go in and do your formatting, and get it the way you're going to want it to look. But I've got all the text in there now, so you have to go through this and get your text formatted exactly the way you want to. I'm going to do that really quick, then we're going to come back and I will show you the next step. Okay, so now I've got this formatted here, and I've kind of gone through and formatted this the way I want to, put spaces in between everything. What I'm going to do here at the end, because I'm going to have this kind of slow down at the end and kind of come to this final title here. So I'm going to leave some space because this is going to scroll, and then everything else will kind of leave the screen. And we're going to end up on this. Now, if this is not long enough, if you didn't anticipate enough space there, you can actually just go up to image and canvas size, and you can increase your canvas size. I'm going to do this by pixels here, and then I'm going to increase this, and you can increase this to like 12,000, 15,000, however long you need it to be. But this is plenty long, so, and then let me show you what this does. When you hit 12,000, you'll notice it's made more screen space here. And now I can grab my my text scroll, move it up, and then we can go down to the bottom of the text and add more text if we need to, or make more room for the text to show. But that's going to be plenty long, so I'm actually going to go back up to my image canvas size and change this back to about 10,000, which worked before. Okay, so there we go. So that's about right. Okay, and what else you can do while you're in here is if you have images or photos or anything else you want to put in here, like special thanks to people. Say you want to put a special thanks to some company's logo or something like that in there. I'm going to go in and grab an image. I know this is like a Twitter image here, but say we want to give special thanks to Twitter or something like that. And you create an image like some sort of alpha channel within Photoshop. Go up here, grab the magic wand, and create some sort of logo here. Going to select similar and get rid of all the whiteness, so it's just the bird with an alpha channel behind it. Now I'm going to select the inverse, copy that, and go back to this and paste it in here. And there's my bird. So now you can, let's just say this belongs down here at the bottom, like for some reason there's a special thanks to Twitter down here. There really isn't, but let's say right there we want that bird to go by right there for some reason. You can put a whole bunch of different photos in here. You can rearrange this and make this whole Photoshop file the way you want to, so your credits show you the way you want to, and they're going to just scroll by. So now I'm going to save that Photoshop file. I'm going to call this credit scroll. I'm going to, and once you're done with that, you can format this any way you want to, put photographs in, put a whole bunch of things in that you want to. I'm going to go to After Effects, and we're going to import that Photoshop file. And from here, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to get that credit scroll right there. With this, I'm just going to merge it, all the layers, and make it into footage. And now it's going to be easy to animate this thing. So I'm going to grab my Photoshop file, drag and drop it into my 1-minute video here. I'm going to go up to my composition here. I'm going to hold Option and scroll out, and you'll be able to see this layer, how long it is. Right now it's centered. I'm just going to grab this, and then I'm going to start pulling down, and while I'm pulling down, I'm going to hold down Shift, and it will lock it to the vertical center position there. I'm going to pull that all the way off my screen right there. So you can see this thing, what's going to happen. This is your movie screen here, this black. And this video is just we're going to animate this and have it scroll by. That's all we're going to do. So now I'm going to go to my credit scroll and arrow down, and under transform, I'm going to turn on my keyframes for my position. Turn on a keyframe, so I got the beginning keyframe there with it off screen. Now I'm going to move in. And I'm going to have it, let's go, I want it to kind of end on a title here and stay on a title for the last 5 seconds. So I'm going to get about 5 seconds before the end. I'm going to grab my video, and I'm going to start moving up, and then I'm going to hold down Shift. After you start moving up, then you hold down Shift, and it locks it to that vertical position. I'm going to make it end right on that text right there. Let me go close, Shift question mark, and get this exactly where we want it to be, to end up right there. Now we go to the beginning, and we press play. And you can watch this thing play by. And if this is going too slow, so it's rendering right now, but let's go back and see how quickly that scrolls there. That's a little bit slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my ending point, I'm going to grab it and drag it a little bit closer. Now let's see, let's go to about 40 seconds. So it just made this from a 1 minute to about 40-second scroll. Let's let it render a little bit and see how fast that goes and see if that's going to be the right speed. And once again, if it's too fast, you can grab the end frame and move it further out, or you can pull it closer in, and let's see how that works there. And that feels about right there. That speed feels about right. This is kind of stroby because I'm doing recording and rendering at the same time on my laptop here. So when it gets to the end here, though, I want it to get to the end here, and actually you see that little bird there, so there goes our little image moving by. And it's going to come to this point here where this text moves into position and comes to a stop. But you notice it's going to suddenly come to an abrupt stop, just boom, and it's done. Now if you want to make that more gradual, what you can do is you're going to have to make kind of a pivot point where it starts to kind of slow down here. I'm going to make a pivot point right here. I'm going to add a keyframe, and then I have it slow into this keyframe here. If you have it ease into this keyframe without a keyframe here, it's going to ease into that from clear back here all the way to the end there. And I just want it to start easing in right about here. So I added this kind of pivot point keyframe right there a couple seconds before. And now I'm going to right click on this keyframe and to go to the keyframe assistant. We're going to tell it to ease into that keyframe right there. So then it will just kind of do this natural slow to a stop here. Let's render that. And you'll notice this comes to a gradual stop instead of to an abrupt stop. Let's watch that again. So here comes the text, scrolls up, and comes to a gradual stop. So there we go. So from the beginning, our credits start to scroll, and then they'll scroll all the way through. There's our bird. And it'll hit this last keyframe. From this keyframe to the next, it'll start to gradually slow down toward the end here. And there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to save that. I'm going to close out, and you go back to Premiere. And within Premiere, this file will update, and it will be referencing that that comp that's in that composition that's in After Effects, and that scroll is right there. And all you have to do once you bring it over here. So then you're going to hit return to render, let it render all the way, then play it back and see how it looks, and that's really about it. So, okay, once that's done rendering, you'll see that this is green here. And at the end here, you notice if this stays up too long, I'm going to have this come to a playing clip at the end here. And once that comes to an end and it stops right there, you can let it play for a second, and let's say I want it to fade out right there. I'm going to cut off the rest of this After Effects composition and dissolve it just like it's a video clip. Render that dissolve at the end. And play, and now it will fade out after it sits there for a minute. And there you go. And then you just treat this just like it's a video clip after it's been rendered. And one final thing, pretend you want to make some changes to your clip. If you find out that you misspelled somebody's name or you need to add people's names, you can actually just go into Photoshop, scroll up to the name. Let's just say that Anderson here has an EN. You're told that he has an EN. So I select my text tool, go in here and click on it, and we're going to change that to an EN. I'm going to change one at the end here so I can tell that the changes have been made. I'm going to put at the end, I'm going to add copyright 2014. Copyright. Okay, once that's added, I'm going to save my Photoshop file. I'm going to close Photoshop. I'm going to go to After Effects, and you'll notice it references that file and it updates automatically. So now when I close After Effects and go into Premiere, After Effects file has changed. Sometimes you have to relink these things. Sometimes it should update automatically. If it doesn't, you right click on the clip, locate, find that file, the credit scroll AEP right there, reconnect it, and it will update. So update it in Photoshop. So the update in Photoshop, once it's saved the file, update it automatically in After Effects, and then you come to Premiere and you'll notice it's all updated downstream and is updated in Premiere as well. And there are the changes, and that's it.